Okay, so you join the Zoom, you're getting ready to meet with somebody that you really look up to and admire. You've been looking forward to this for a month, and then they don't show up. What do you do? Welcome back to the idea supply chain, where we take a look at where ideas come from and what makes those ideas valuable. Today, I wanted to share a bit of an experience I had that almost went really badly, but I was able to turn it around and turn it into something very, very positive for myself. So, as I mentioned in kind of the lead in, I had a call today scheduled. It's been scheduled for about a month. Been really looking forward to it. It's somebody that I've been following for a long time. I really admire them, and it was just, I don't know, I saw a lot of potential in it. But on the call, and nobody joins. So I waited for about 10, 15 minutes and then realized, like, okay, they're not joining. And so my first thought was, I guess this just wasn't that interesting to them. They showed interest initially, but that was like a month ago. Something else came up. They don't really care about it. Probably just need to move on. But then I realized something. I said, okay, that's one way to look at it. But what is the positive interpretation? What can I believe about this whole situation that gives the other person the maximum benefit of the doubt? And in that case, I was like, oh, well, either A, something unexpected happened and they weren't able to send me a message, or B, like, there was a technical issue and it just didn't show up. They're not looking forward to meeting me nearly as much as I'm looking forward to meeting them. They don't know me. They don't follow me. All they know is that I sent them a message out of the blue, talked a little bit about the ideas, and was like, hey, I think we should, chat about this. I think you would really appreciate it. And so I said, okay, well, let's do this instead. And what I did instead was I created a Loom video in which I went over the ideas that I was going to share anyway and said, hey, this is where I think we're really aligned. This is what I'm doing. Here's why. Here's kind of the progress. And just gave this overview in about a 10-minute video or something like that. And then I sent him an email saying, hey, guess we probably got wires crossed or something. Also realized that I didn't set reminders up. So, like, there were no reminders being sent out. I like to do that like an hour before or a day before. I didn't have that. So, assuming something went wrong. And anyway, here's a video of my ideas. And I got a response back immediately of like, oh my God, it wasn't on my calendar. I'm so sorry. But I'll go ahead and watch your video. And from there, it ended up being a pretty like good back and forth conversation over email. And they're going to be trying out my tools. They want to see how it grows. And I moved that relationship forward. And, I took what, to be honest, it felt like a punch in the gut. Like, it felt bad. And, a lot of it has to do with like ADHD and, rejection sensitive dysphoria. Everything feels like a rejection. But one of the things I've really focused on is making people explicitly reject me. And, it's super easy to reject yourself for someone by thinking like, oh, well, they must not want anything to do with me. They must have rejected me, so they didn't show up. But that's not normally the case. People are busy. Everything is just so dependent on tech working correctly. We think tech is going to work right, except it doesn't, because we're human. We make mistakes. The technology sometimes doesn't work the way we expect. There's a million possible explanations that aren't they explicitly rejected me. And so, as someone who, was potentially rejected, should you just accept that as a rejection? Or should you try to figure out the 99 other ways that it wasn't a rejection. And it was just something that went wrong. I really think we can do a lot if we just assume that people have the best intentions possible. And people typically don't want to go out of their way to hurt you. They don't want to just reject you outright. And, a lot of that goes back to the fact that, again, I admire this person. I really look up to them. I think that they are doing a wonderful thing. And when I thought of it from that standpoint, I was like, the whole idea that they would just reject me without having that conversation, just that doesn't actually fit who they are at all. And I knew that. And so when I was able to reframe that, it really did turn it into an overall positive experience. And so I wanted to share that because I think it's such a powerful way to just reframe that situation on the fly, right? Like, we could be super quick to concoct a story in our heads that has nothing to do with reality. We fill in all the details instead of making sure we actually have all of the available information. So, how much are you rejecting yourself versus how much are you actually making other people reject you? And when you're dealing with rejection, really pay close attention to that, because I think you'll find that a lot of times you're rejecting yourself on behalf of other people, assuming that they're rejecting you when you have no idea whether or not they actually are. So anyway, that's it for today's video. Hope that's helpful. Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.